Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I'm Joseph Hales, member for Melbourne and the chair of this committee, Grants Committee. Today's date, which is the 29th of January 2026. So welcome to the new year, first one of the year. Apologies for absence. Please.
Thank you very much, Chair. We have no apologies for absence today. Full house.
Thank you very much. And next item for housekeeping is declaration of interest. That's for my councillor colleagues. Anything on the agenda that is going to cause you pain and suffering? Sue?
Two things, surprisingly enough. One is the Fendrayton Village Hall application, which I was not party to the application, but no, it was going ahead, if you see what I mean. So I don't think I have any pecuniary interest. And also the Papworth Team Ministry one, I attend a church which is part of the Papworth Team Ministry, but there are 19 of them, so it's quite a big collection. And no, I didn't know they were putting in for this, and wasn't involved in the putting in for this application.
In that, I don't think there's any conflict there, is there? Like your faith is between you and your God. That's it. Okay, thank you. Right.
Peter wants.
Oh, beg your pardon, Peter, sorry.
It's all right. Likewise, Papworth Team Ministry, I've had email correspondence with the minister, but I have no pecuniary interest. I don't even attend their church, so nothing to...
Okay, thank you very much.
It's a non-declaration, I think.
I think it's a non, yes, but it's probably best to just say it and then it's nothing to worry about. Anybody else before we move on? Okay, thank you. Right, number 3, public questions.
No public questions.
I'm surprised. We normally have dozens of them each week. Perhaps it's because it's a new year.
Maybe just take a bit of time to come through.
February's always another month. That's it. Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on then to the highlight of the meeting. Emma, community chest funding applications. Would you mind presenting? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. So we have £31,221.72 remaining in the fund. We appreciate there's obviously a fair amount still left, so we will be advertising in the parish e-bulletin this month to try and drum up some additional applications. Just to let you know, the biodiversity ring fence fund is now closed until the 1st of April. All the funding's been used there. And the cost of living ring fenced fund has now ended, and the remaining funds have gone back. It was only about just over £300 that's gone back to the cost of living budget. Straight on to page 9, we have Little Shelford Cricket Club. It's a fully inclusive club, provides opportunities for men, women and children, for boys and girls as well. It's located at the Whale Recreation Ground, which is owned by the Parish Council, and there's currently 90 members, so it's well used. They are specifically looking to purchase 2 sight screens that will enhance the quality of play and support player development at both junior and adult levels. See a couple of pictures for those. Total costs are £2,880 and £1,440 has been requested from the community chest. That's for 2 cricket sight screens and delivery and installation. The Little Shelford Sports and Recreation Trust have agreed to match fund up to £1,500, and we also have support from Councillor Peter Fain. Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. Colleagues, any questions for Emma or any comment with regards to the application? No. I'm not a cricketer, so unless one of you boys or ladies is a cricketer, don't forget, Sue does the BMX now. So. Over to you, Pete.
Thanks. I mean, looking at the pictures, it must be very difficult to bat with a background like that, or there's differently coloured trees. So, yeah, I'm surprised they haven't gone for sight screens before, but happy to support this application.
Bill?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I was a cricketer once, a very, very bad one. It does help having a sight screen, particularly it's quite a hard ball. it helps you be able to see the ball if you're a batsman. So I would support this.
Things you learn. I always thought that was the reason why there was a red ball, so you could see it coming before it hurt. Okay. In that case, can I have a show of hands if we agree with this? Thank you very much. So unanimous, Emma. Thank you.
Okay. Page 11, Fendraighton Village Hall. This was established in 2006 and it can be hired by any member of the general public for a fee. The Scouts, Bowls, Judo, Tai Chi and exercise groups use the hall. And there's also a community cafe. The parish council own the land on which the village hall sits, but there's a 999-year lease to the trustees of the village hall, and all maintenance of the building is undertaken by the village hall as well, just to note. The committee have already replaced the blinds in their meeting room, for which we provided £2,000, and that was back in December 2024. And they would now like to replace the outdated and worn curtains in the main hall. I have to clarify that because we weren't quite sure where but that's a picture of the main hall there, I believe. So total costs for 3 new curtains are £1,936.80, including VAT, and all of that has been requested from the community chest. These are blackout flame-proof lining curtains, includes the installation as well. It's broken down. Parish Council are contributing 50% in funding towards a new bike rack. Just so you know, the funding is supporting the village hall in some way. And we have support from Councillor Sue Ellington. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, comments? I have a question. It's unusual to see including VAT in the totals box. I'm assuming that they are unable to reclaim or any issue with the VAT themselves. And if I can't recall, who owns the building? The parish council own the building? Of the land. Are the parish council buying the curtains? Because they would be VAT.
I believe that this would have to be the applicant because they own the building. I think they own the building, but I think the parish council actually own the land it's on. It's a bit of a complicated one. I think maybe Sue could, I don't know if you know a little bit more about that, but that's as far as I know. So where we include the VAT, it's normally where they can't reclaim it.
Okay, thank you. I'm just wary, that's all, because of the rule change with regards to this. So.
The village hall is a charity all of its own, if you see what I mean. And the picture shows the barn that it was, if you see what I mean. It really did have a very high roof, and it was like having coffee morning in a tent. So now it has a beautiful ceiling due to grant funding. Thank you very much. And these curtains will make all the difference to making it feel like a community venue for coffee mornings and those sort of things. And the heat is conserved, as well as the conversation. You don't hear everybody's from one end of the hall to the other. Thank you.
Like the proverbial whispering gallery. Any other comments, colleagues? Bill?
It's a fair comment, Chair, that you made about the VAT. I mean, 20%, it's a fair amount of money if they can claim it back. I think maybe we can just ask. I've no problem with the application, but maybe it's a question that Emma can go back and ask.
My main concern was if you do something, you've made an application, then somebody else buys it for you. Parish councils get in trouble now, don't they, for essentially washing VAT. So we don't want to get anyone in trouble. They need to be aware of it, that's all. Okay, so then the application is for £1,936.80. Are we okay with this one, ladies and gents? That's agreed. Thank you very much. Emma, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. So page 13, it's Papworth Team Ministry. It's an Anglican group of churches that serve Papworth, Everard and the surrounding villages. The ministry provide practical care, outreach and events that support people of all ages. So working in partnership with local schools, community organisations and volunteers as well. What they would like to do is establish the Kaleidoscope Cafe. This is a free to use pop-up community cafe for older residents of Papworth, Everard and the surrounding parishes. It will be held once a month on a Monday, I believe, Monday morning, and that will be at the village hall, and will aim to reduce loneliness and isolation. All activities will be secular, community focused and entirely optional, designed to encourage conversation and connection rather than promote any particular belief or viewpoint. It will be widely publicised and transport will be provided to those who require it. And funding is requested for durable resources that will be retained by the group and used repeatedly for a lot of activities that go on there. Total costs are £618.72, all of which has been requested from the community chest. So we've got a number of board games, as you can see in the list, mugs, tablecloths, speakers, things like that, and also some feather flags. They've already received start-up revenue costs for the project. That's £250 from the parish council and £400 from the Henry Trotter Trust. And the flags would be used only during the cafe sessions and stored securely between uses. And we have support from both ward members. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Emma. Colleagues, any comment? Peter?
Thanks, Joyce. As I said earlier, I've had email exchanges with the Reverend Matt, who's the new and very enthusiastic minister of the Papworth Team Ministry. They've already had experience of organising similar events for many years over the summer. They're really just expanding throughout the year now, once a month. I did, as Emma pointed out, also confirm that these events will be open to all, not just members of the particular church. The one thing they haven't made clear is, do they have secure storage for all these items? I assume there's a lockable cupboard or something in the village hall they can use, but might be worth just clarifying that, please. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, yes, we said that the flags would be stored securely, so I'm assuming that the same would go for the board games as well, all the additional things.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. If they got storage for the flags. Otherwise, yeah, quite happy to support. Thank you.
Thanks, Pete. I also had Mark Howell, as well, he said he couldn't comment because he's part of the church himself. But I read between the lines that he's extremely supportive. So, as I know Mark would be. So
He said he can't comment, then he's put in a long comment. So yes, thanks, Mark.
that's our Mark, and we love Mark. That's good. Bill.
Yeah, I just want to ask the questions about this. Obviously, this application's been put in by the team rector. When I first read through this, I thought, oh, this is just happening in the church, is it? You know, and red flags started to come up. But it's not. It's been held in a separate place in the village hall. Can I ask the question, does it have a kind of a separate management committee, which is quite separate from the church? I think that's quite important that it does. Because, you know, that way it does put it just slightly away from the church.
Emma, Jane, would you like to answer that?
So, it is the church that will be running, and there's not a separate management committee as such. So, thank you.
Peter?
Yes, the village hall does have a separate management committee. It's a subset of the parish council, so they are separate from the church.
Thank you for the comments, everyone. I was going to add my 2 pennies, if you like. We could really do with more of this sort of thing, whichever community group comes along across the entire district, because they're very powerful and they have such a very good impact. You and I often talk about our involvement with bits and pieces, and it's just something that's really nice. So it seems that we have £31,221 and 72 pence left in the budget for this financial year. I would implore those who might like to stick their pen to paper or their finger to the typewriter to fill out the application form online and make an application for this sort of thing, I think it would be very welcome as far as we're concerned, as long as they're not doubling up and wasting money, but, you know. So it's for £618.72 for this Papadovrad team ministry application. Are we all in favour? Yeah. Thank you very much. That's another yes, please. And Emma, can I just ask a question, since that the lead member for resources is here as well, so I'll try and put him on the spot. The 31,221 and 72p, if we don't manage to encourage people to make applications and spend that budget by the end of this financial year, can or would we carry that over into the new year for something else, or we move it sideways into another grant fund which is running out that we have internally, so to speak, or does it just get put back in the system and is rebudgeted in 26, 27? Can I ask John if that's okay?
No, we won't be carrying it forward.
Thank you. Just thought I'd ask. It's always, don't, as my nan said, don't ask, don't get. I asked, we didn't. Right. Okay, thank you. In that case, Emma, that's it for you, isn't it? On that particular one. Are you doing number 5 now, yeah? Yep, so we're going to move on then. Thank you.
Thank you. As part of this paper, we'd also welcome the view of the committee on a slight amendment to the criteria to make it clearer on whether start-up costs, or start-up revenue costs, should I say, could also be applied to new projects from existing organisations, or in the case where applicants want to increase the capacity of an existing project. It's a common question that we do get as officers, and it'll be good to have your views on that. The current criteria just states what can be funded, that start-up costs, and then brackets, for example, training of staff volunteers, hall hire and other revenue costs can be funded. It doesn't break it down any further, so I just wanted to know if that could be a possibility. Thank you.
Thanks. You want to point just at the particular paragraph, if you wouldn't mind, just for myself and colleagues can just refresh our minds. If is it Appendix B? Page 6, that's it. Right. Right, okay. What do we think is the question? So this is, in short, the potential to add a start-up cost to essentially any projects that are for rather the community chest, then that would be okay to add that in. It still stays within the 2,000 limit, but, you know, it may be 1,000 plus a bit of start-up, still within the 2,000, yeah? Okay. Yeah, thanks. Colleagues, anyone got anything to say? Could do with some opinion, because the man is sitting in the room, so he has to sign this off. Have we had a big Christmas or something this year? It doesn't seem to be much get up and go, or is it gone? Because I'll lead. I think this is a wonderful idea. As Emma has said, we often get asked this, and it might be the difference between someone doing something and not doing something. And given my previous comment, I suppose that actually would elicit my support with 100%. So over to you, boys. Bill.
What a great idea. That goes without saying, really. Yeah, I would support. I mean, obviously, we have to see. Recommend. Are you talking about coming back to the next meeting with some ideas? Is that the idea?
Is this the next meeting that you're thinking of this, or is this for the new year? New financial year. So we just run the rest of the year with this. So we have got time to become overly enthusiastic about this in the next 2 months, all of us. Cool. Oh dear, I'm going to have to poke you lot. Couple prod. Yeah, right. Okay, thanks. I just want to say first, I meant to say this at the start, so I'd like to welcome James and Becky. James obviously works for the council, and Becky is here on his work experience, and she's now witnessing how the cut and thrust of decision making within the council, and obviously how we debate and how we argue and scream at each other so that we get to the right decision at the end of it. So Becky, this is how we do it on this committee. It's very congenial, delicate and quiet. Right, so, right, welcome anyway. Sue.
Well, I think we do need to do what it identifies we can do under item 12. Note the progress of the Cambridge Dial-A-Ride within the scope of the report and look for further.
Wrong page. We're on page 6. Yeah, sorry.
Oh.
I should have said, I beg your pardon, we're page 6, paragraph 15, which is this one here. So.
Well, it still gives an option for us
It does.
on page 25.
Yes.
And that was the option that I was looking at, that we
We're not onto that
note
bit yet.
progress. Oh, we're not onto that bit though. Oh, we haven't got an item 6.
No, it was all to do with the grants application that Emma's brought forward, so it was just a tweak.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Moving on. I think we're in favour, Emma. We're in favour, Emma. Oh, yeah, so thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, in that case, are you done on that one? On 4? Right, are you doing 5? Let's do 5, because Sue has something to say.
You said we'd moved on to item 5.
I did, and I was wrong.
So I was listening to it.
It's
And
been a
that's
long...
why it didn't sort of tag together
It's been a
somehow.
long Christmas, you know that, yeah? So, okay, thanks. Moving on. Emma.
Okay, thank you. So Cambridge Dial-A-Ride, so this report reviews the delivery of service that Cambridge Dial-A-Ride have provided during quarters 1 and 2 of the 2025-26 financial year. So they currently receive £5,000 per annum through the 2023 to 2026 service support grant. And this is to provide dial-a-ride service to the elderly and disabled residents of South Cambridgeshire. Last year, they came to us to let us know that they'd been experiencing some significant financial and operational challenges, and they also had a funding shortfall for the service that they provide in South Cambridgeshire. They said that without additional funding, this service would have to be severely curtailed, and as a result, we gave them an additional £5,000, so £10,000 in total for that financial year, and that's to continue that service. The interim updates on their activities is provided at Appendix A, and that's page 27. This shows that there's clear progress compared to the 2024-25 annual report that we received. They are working to address viability with the CPCA through adaptations to their operating model. They're in discussions with the CPCA on this. I won't go any further, but those discussions are sort of taking place. So I just wanted to update you on that, really. It's just a bit of an update report, thank you.
Thank you. Right, so it says here we review the reports and make recommendations to the lead cabinet member for resource. So does anyone have any comments about that? So this is the interim report, essentially. We're still in the financial year. They're just telling us what they're doing. We have given extra money, given the circumstances. Emma has detailed another £5,000. I suspect this is an organisation which is suffering the same issues that every other community group, almost to the letter, are suffering as well. So, Sunita.
Personally, I feel that this provides a kind of a lifeline to elderly people, and I know there's loads in Histon and Girton. Takes them to their appointments, hospital appointments, social clubs, etc. in an area where we don't have enough buses if the elderly and disabled can get onto those buses, I mean, mobility-wise. And I think this is something that we should really be supporting with funding.
Okay. We're not really looking at the funding. I mean, it's a comment, but this is just to receive the report and make comments about this. I hear what you're saying. On page 28, other than Girton, which is 24 members, it says, the numbers are, what I would politely suggest, are very low for across the board. This is Appendix A. This is the schemes report, interim report. So I can understand perhaps your comment and other comments and other people's feelings as well as perhaps even mine. However, the officers use the correct weighting process, if you like, so that each application, and I understand it was massively oversubscribed, I think would be the fairest, by politest way of saying it, massively oversubscribed. And so if you don't score high enough, you go into the grey patch and not the green patch. And having suffered that indignity myself, having made an application, I know exactly what it feels like. So I appreciate where we're coming from here, but I think from this meeting's purpose today is to look at this thing, and we can say what we want to say, and we can say that to the lead member for resource, say we think it should or it shouldn't or whatever, whichever way, and your comments are very valid. However, I think we must be mindful that the system has already done its job, so to speak, and evaluated each of the applications. So we may well be staying where we are, unfortunately. However, that's not for me to say. Bill.
A question for Emma, the officers. Do they think that this is being adequately advertised? You've mentioned, Chair, that the numbers are low. I'm not the most observant person in the world, but I haven't really noticed any adverts to do with Dial a Ride. People often complain to me that they can't get out of the village. I think that's probably not quite so bad these days because there is a bus that runs through my villages now that didn't exist before. But that's the point, is that people do say that they can't get out of the villages to get to the shops or whatever they want to do. But I haven't seen any adverts. So if they don't advertise it, they're not going to get the customers.
Thanks, Bill. I kind of know exactly where you're coming from, because other community car schemes, you don't tend to see too much of that. I think there's a reliance on being advertised in our other scheme to say these are the things rather than it plastered everywhere. While Emma's looking for the answer for your question, perhaps I'll add a question to that, because you may come across as Emma as well. Is there an issue with drivers? Because the other community car schemes are all suffering with lack of volunteer drivers to run their schemes, as well as money, and it's like a double whammy. And I wonder if this has got any issue where they can't provide the service because they just don't have the drivers to do it. So, Emma.
Thank you. So as part of the agreements for the additional funding, we did say to them that they did need to promote more widely as to evidence for this. I've not looked into it in great depth, but again, you have to kind of take their words that they have done that because they've agreed to that grant agreement. But obviously, we could do checks. I'm not entirely sure in that aspect. In terms of volunteers, I think they had issues. I think one of their volunteers might have left at one particular point, but I think they are working to become more viable as such. So, and I know that the CPCA have given them additional funding to support or write off the shortfall, but I'm hoping that they are trying to address those things. I think it might take a little bit of time potentially, but yeah.
Thank you, Emma. Sunita.
A small comment. There are not just awareness. I don't know if some elderly are capable of applying for this service or using using a computer. So, you know, they may need help.
Thank you. John?
Yeah, thank you. I think it's worth mentioning that this isn't a direct response transport operation. It's not something you phone up and then you, like a taxi, you just get it and off it goes. You have to be a member of the Cambridge Dial-A-Ride, so you have to pay an annual fee, and then the actual fee that you pay is actually quite high. And you know, I have to be quite honest that, you know, we have to look for best value for money on this council, and it actually, given the figures, we could actually pay someone to take a taxi rather than pay Cambridge Dial-A-Ride for the number of people that were using it. So, you know, it's not something that we can be publicising. It's something for Cambridge Dial-A-Ride to deal with its own membership. It has a very low membership in South Cambs, extremely low membership. And really, as has already been explained, you know, they went through quite a rigorous, their application, and this is the point I'm going to make, is that we base our decision on their application, not on them. And unfortunately, they presented a very poor application, and as a result, they were very low down. On, you know, we're not even talking. They just missed. You know, they weren't even in the grey area. You know, their application was virtually at the bottom, scored so low it was virtually at the bottom of the list. So it's not a case of just going back and having another think about it. You know, I'm sorry to say that there were, you know, 8 or 10 others that were before them that got higher scores. And so we can't really go back and just look at them as a special case. I think would not be fair on all the other applicants that applied for funding. So I regret to say that, you know, as a result, you know, we will not be funding them in the coming year.
Thank you, John. I think it was only fair to say, though, that, you know, Sue raised the first part of it, and we've had a chat and a discussion about it. So, yeah, the decision stands, essentially. So that's that. Okay, thank you. Peter?
Yeah, I mean, further to John's point, it's not just taxis are available, there's also the Tiger on Demand service, which largely seems to duplicate what Dial-A-Ride provides. So as long as the client base is covered one way or the other, we shouldn't spend too much time getting attached to organisations.
Thank you. Any more from you, Emma? Is that it? Nothing on this particular agenda item? Anything else you want to say? Okay, John, have you got anything else to say? Okay, in that case, it leaves me the pleasure of saying thank you very much to officers, Emma, Jane who came, Sarah, Erin, James and Becky, obviously to John for the lead member of the resource, and to my councillor colleagues. Thank you very much. And to close, it's 2026. It's a lovely year, I think, going to be coming up. To all those thousands of people watching the stream now, do write in, bring questions that we can answer. That'd be fine. The officers will help us out with that one. We're very much at your beck and call. So thank you very much.